Hello, John Rhodes here, and welcome back. A big hello to all my subscribers, and for those of you that have just found the channel, why not hit the little button now and subscribe? In this video presentation, I'm going to be looking at the retreatment of a mandibular molar. You can see there's a few challenges ahead, a couple of fractured instruments in the mesial root, and after taking a CBCT, I found there were actually 3 canals in the distal. I hope you enjoy it. Here you can see the preoperative radiograph of the mandibular right first molar. An attempt at root filling has already been made, however they've run across some difficulties. There's a couple of fractured instruments in the mesial canals, and the distal canal just doesn't look quite right. I exposed a CBCT to check this out, and in fact the distal root has 3 separate canals. We're jumping in a little bit into the preparation sequence. I've already cut an access cavity and removed most of the GP using a Gates Glidden number 2, and now I'm using the electronic apex locator to confirm the lengths of the distal canals. With a glide path already established to a size 10 flexor file, I can safely use the Wave.One Gold glider, small and primary instruments to rapidly taper the root canals. One of the great things about working through an access cavity filled with sodium hypochlorite is that as you withdraw the instrument, lots of the dentine chips are dispersed into the pulp chamber. They're obviously very easily removed from there. It also means that you can sometimes prepare more than one canal in sequence without having to take the instrument out and clean it separately. Before finishing preparation with a primary instrument, I took a diagnostic working length radiograph using size 20 files. You can see that I've managed to bypass the most apical piece of fractured instrument in the mesial canals. This would be almost impossible to retrieve. You certainly wouldn't be able to see it with the microscope. Although lodged very deep in the mesial canal, I felt confident that I could remove the larger piece of fractured instrument from the mesiolingual canal. In this case, there's a few things that are very important. You need to make sure you've got space coronally, and that there's an exit pathway for the piece of instrument to be retrieved. First of all, you cut a landing stage around the most coronal part, and then use your ultrasonics on the outer curve to loosen and retrieve the instrument. Here I'm completing preparation using a primary Wave.One Gold instrument. In the case of the canals where there are fractured instruments, one canal I managed to bypass, and in the other I'm preparing down to the level of the piece of instrument. We're now looking down the mesiolingual canal, and I can see under the microscope the head of the piece of fractured instrument. I've created a landing stage around the head, and I'm trying to loosen it using an Action ET25. Unfortunately, the piece of fractured instrument breaks in half and a piece is remaining. This is so deep that it's longer than the ET25, and so I swap over after irrigating the root canal to a Terrucci instrument. These are very long, you have to use them on a slightly lower power. Here you can see the tip of that file still remaining in the mesiolingual canal, and I go in with the Terrucci tip and it's loosened and retrieved. The length of the mesiolingual canal is confirmed with an electronic apex locator and a diagnostic working length radiograph. When you're trying to remove instruments from curved canals, you will create a little ledge on the outer curve, and you have to do this in order to get your instrument lateral to the piece of fractured instrument. So now you can see me preparing the mesiolingual canal, and I'm using a brushing technique to try and even out some of the ledge. A Wave.One gold primary instrument is used to complete preparation. I'm carrying out cone fitting in the mesiolingual canal, and you can see that the point glides beautifully to the full working length. And here a nice view under high microscopic magnification of the pulp floor and the 5 root canals in this mandibular right first molar. Here is the preoperative view of the mandibular right first molar, showing the poorly obturated root canals and periapical abscess on the distal root. This is my first post-op radiograph, and it shows good coronal apical seal. You can see that little ledge that I was talking about in the mesiolingual canal. This is really unavoidable when trying to retrieve instruments so deep from within the root canal system. A distal angle view shows the distal canals very nicely in convergence of 2 of them. The mesial canals are both obturated to the full working length. Well, I do hope you enjoyed that presentation. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and above all, enjoy your endo.